So it's on to the fourth step now. In this step, I'm going to create a cutter. And what that means is I'm going to cut all of my text and my objects and images out of the black base of my sign. But before I do that, I'm going to create another copy of this. Because once I create a cutter and cut all these out, I'm not going to be able to change it again. So again, I'm going to do my drag and drop with Alt, and I'm going to drag it off to the left-hand side. So I still have a version that I can go back to. I'll zoom in a bit here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a window called the Pathfinder. So if I click on Window and I select down to Pathfinder, you'll see that window open up on the right-hand side here. And I'm going to use two shape modes. I'm going to use the Unite shape mode, and I'm going to use the minus shape mode. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of the parts that I have, or that I want to cut out of my sign blank. And then I'm going to click on the Unite button to unite them all together. Because right now, they're 1, 2, 3, 4 different parts. If I click on the Unite button, it doesn't look like anything happened. But if I click off and now click on, you can see that now all of those parts that I want to cut out of my sign blank are all united together. Now that I have this is called my cutter. I'm going to select my cutter and the sign blank. And now I'm going to select minus. And you're going to see that what happens is all of those areas have been removed. It's a little bit difficult to see on the artboard, but if I just move this around here, you can see how right now all I have is either metal, which is represented as black, or nothing. That's key. Now it looks like I'm ready to go, and I could take this to the plasma cutter, but what I've done right now is I've created something that I call islands. So let's zoom in on the 0 so you can see what I mean. So if I cut this sign here right now, this piece of metal is going to float around and it's going to fall into the plasma table. So what I need to do is I need to create a bridge between all of the islands that I've created so they don't fall into the plasma table. So this is an island. I have an island here, an island. Here's another island. That's an island. I've got an island here. So I need to bridge all of these parts together. So to bridge them, I'm going to create a shape that's going to act as my bridge, and I'm going to copy and paste it into my design. So I'm going to create a shape over here, and I want the width of my shape. At minimum, your bridges need to be 1/8 of an inch, but if your design can handle it, 1/4 of an inch is even better. So I'm going to try to do that, 1/4 of an inch. So that's going to be the bridge that I'm going to use to connect the parts of my design. But if I do this, again, I can't see that this bridge is a separate piece. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to keep it a dark color because I want it to represent the steel, but I want to see that it's different from the back of my material right now, or from my sign base. So now that I have that, I'm going to click, drag, and drop it. And now you can see that I have a bridge between my island and my base material. So I'll do this with the 8 as well. I can also change the size like this. Okay. So now I'm going to take this bridge here and I'm going to put it over my P. Now if I move it, that bridge looks a little bit too thick to me. So I started with 1/4 of an inch, and I can go down to about 1/8 of an inch at the absolute most. So let's try going a little bit more narrow. So let's try 0.2. 0.2 looks pretty good actually. So now that I have my bridge, I'm going to add it into my into this letter here. Now the positioning of it is important. I want it to be as close to the edge as possible, but not overlapping. So here's what I mean. I want it to look like this, meaning my bridge doesn't go past my base material. If it looks like this, it's going to be way more difficult. You can see here that my bridge went past my base material. It's going to be more difficult to fix that in your design. So I'll add my bridges now. So I've got a P. I'm going to add my bridge to my B here. Zoom in. Now it looks like the only ones I have left to do are the A. And if I add my bridge to the A, looks a little bit off. And I know that this detail here is not going to cut very well with the plasma cutter. So what I like to do with these is I like to rotate my bridge. So I can rotate my bridge, and I want my bridge to be parallel to the edge that I want it to be on. So notice how now my bridge is basically parallel to the edge of my A. Now if I go down, I can move this over to my A. And now remember, I don't want to have my my bridge sticking out, so I might need to rotate this just a little bit more. There we go. And it's okay that it's not perfect. So that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to do another drag and drop for my other A. Zoom in, nudge it. Now if I zoom out, I can see that my bridges are going to keep all of my islands in my sign, but they don't really detract from the design. So the next thing I need to do is I need to add these bridges into my design. And I'm going to use the Unite tool again. But once again, once I do that, this is going to be a change that I can't take back. So I'm going to select all of my sign, and I'll zoom out, and I'm going to drag and drop my sign so I have another version that I can go back to if I need. So now I'll open up my Pathfinder tools, and I'm going to select my bridge, my bridges, and I'm going to unite them all together. And then I'm going to select all of my bridges and the base material, and I'm going to unite this together. And now you can see that I have a sign that is all one piece and has bridges so that nothing will move. Easy way to test this is I grab my direct select tool and I select on my sign material. I click and I drag, and nothing is left behind. If I forgot to do one of these bridges, if I clicked and dragged at this point, I would see that island left behind, and I would know I need to put a bridge on it. You'll notice that the fill color changed a little bit here to match the color of the bridges that I was using. That doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, that is a bit of a helpful hint to see if my bridges worked or not.